Animal Crossing is one of Nintendo's staple franchises that you live the life of a young villager who moves to a new area inhabited by numerous different animals in real time. While there are objectives like paying back your loan to the local entrepreneur or finance bro, Tom Nook, most enjoy it for its calmer route and laid back approach, allowing you to do things as fish, collect fossils, decorate your space to your liking, and the overall experience of life with your new animal neighbors. Animal Crossing was originally released in 2001 as a Japan exclusive for the Nintendo 64 called Dobutsu no Mori, or Animal Forest, as translated in English. In 2002, the game was translated to English for its release in the USA with the title Animal Crossing on the Nintendo GameCube. This was just the beginning for the now iconic Nintendo franchise. Since then, the franchise has ports on handheld systems, consoles, and even mobile phones. These different adaptations have had our villager inhabit a village in cities, islands, forests, and even camps. Animal Crossing is widely considered to most to fit in the cozy game genre, and that is what caught my appeal to it at such a young age and is what made it hold all this value all these years later. The simple relaxation with the endless possibilities allow you to get completely lost in its immersive gameplay. For me, my journey into the Animal Crossing franchise takes place in early 2006. I had gotten my blue Nintendo DS the year prior for my birthday and was having the time of my life with the Super Mario 64 remake. My best friend at the time, though, he was a year older than me and he always got all the cool games before me. When he received his copy of Wild World, well, I became absolutely obsessed. Discovering fossils, fishing, setting booby traps, as we called it, with pitfall seeds, you know. And just the overall experience of interacting with all the animals and the daily conversations. I just had to get a copy. Unfortunately, at the age of 8, well, the job market was not in my favor, so I had to do what most every other kid did, which was wait. And waiting felt like forever when you were a kid. Eventually my birthday struck and there it was, my very own copy of Animal Crossing Wild World for the Nintendo DS. I dove in immediately into my very own world, shout out to Coolsville by the way, where I was the boss. It was amazing. Honestly, as an 8-year-old, I see why I love this game so much. It made me feel like an adult being able to put furniture where I wanted to inside my house. Sadly, this has led to unrealistic expectations growing up, that I was going to be able to have froggy-themed furniture throughout my house, and that fossils were going to be an everyday occurrence that I could just drop inside my house. Needless to say that Animal Crossing has been one of my favorite single-player games to date. I will never forget the day Animal Crossing New Horizons came out for the Nintendo Switch. Both Doom and Animal Crossing New Horizons were set to release March 20th in 2020. The US had begun shutting down that Monday, March 15th, but the town I was living in at the time was kind of letting people get to the weekend. However, upon receiving a notification from our school's EBS system, or emergency broadcast system, it was deemed that school was going to be shut down along with the businesses in the very small town that I resided in. Just great. I was already pretty prepared for the quarantine and was not trying to catch this mysterious COVID, but now I was throwing a curveball of being able to get a game that I had loved since a child. I thought to myself I might not be able to go pick up my physical pre-order and the bonus since the local GameStop was shutting down for quarantine. Now granted, yes, there were way bigger issues in life at that time than a video game pre-order, but as a physical copy truther and not having a steady income, I was determined to not have to buy this game digitally. Thankfully, my GameStop was really cool and actually let me pick up a copy of the game before the store closed down on March 19th, a whole day early, at around 2 p.m. Now, why am I telling a story about COVID shutting everything down in a video about Animal Crossing? I firmly believe the release of Animal Crossing's New Horizon was something that brought both gamers and non-gamers alike, and they brought us together for a very scary and uncertain time. I remember as a child growing up, I would mention that Animal Crossing was one of my favorite games to kids at school, and most of them really had never heard of what it was. Back to 2020, now with the world being shut down and the emergence of this cute, cozy, relaxing, calming game, Nintendo Switches were becoming nearly impossible to find, and everyone had to get a copy of this game. Personally, I recall multiple people I had known posting about their Animal Crossing islands, and everyone wanting to visit each other's islands. Well, since we were all locked up anyway, it was a new and creative way to all connect and get through a very difficult time. Because of the COVID craze and all of the franchise's new die-hard fans, Animal Crossing New Horizons won Game of the Year in Japan and has sold a whopping 47.8 million copies. In comparison, all the other mainline Animal Crossings had only put together to sell 31.4 million copies. Animal Crossing New Horizons was at the peak of the gaming industry, outselling all of its mainline predecessors by 16.4 million units. Animal Crossing was truly everywhere. As someone who grew up a huge Nintendo fan with a die-hard love for Animal Crossing, I had never seen so much Animal Crossing merch in stores, love on social media, and just overall people knowing what was one of my favorite childhood franchises. After the major update of Animal Crossing's New Horizon 2.0 in November of 2021, the fanbase really felt Nintendo had abandoned the game. It got very frustrating for Animal Crossing fans who had put hundreds of hours into a game, and suddenly the quality of life updates, well, they just stopped. Watching in-game events recycle the same old items with no updates whatsoever made fans realize as time went on that a new update, it was just not going to come. With the most disappointing being in 2022 on New Year's Eve. I remember being on my island waiting for the New Year's Eve countdown with my Welcome to 2022 arch because Nintendo simply refused to add a Welcome to 2023 arch. At this point, a game that I had played most every day for over a year, I was simply becoming burnt out. It felt as if Nintendo had given up on one of its greatest successes. I remember going to the Roost and drinking my last cup of Joe, and decided it was time to put the game down for a while. All of this poises me to ask one question. Was Nintendo letting its fans slowly suffer due to the newfound success in the Animal Crossing franchise? At a surface level and looking at the facts of the units sold, the number of new short content reels that I was seeing daily that were dedicated to this game, and all of the amazing islands that people had made to be showcased on Luna's Dream Island, why was Nintendo not equipped to keep up the quality of life for this game to stay up to date? Especially with it being the second most sold Switch game and having a fan base that was extremely loyal. I think the answer really lies with the reason the game blew up so much in the first place. Nintendo had no anticipation of either COVID or the way the game would take off. The success COVID brought to Animal Crossing's New Horizon also was the downfall of the game. Looking at it in a bigger picture, no matter what Animal Crossing game I was playing growing up, they all eventually got aged out, we ran out of items and dates. However, this did not necessarily stop me from playing. Heck, I still probably put 20 hours a year into Wild World. You know, someone's got to keep up with Coolsville. But why was I not bothered about this until this specific Animal Crossing? COVID took a lot of people's jobs and was overall tough for the gaming industry along with many others. While in an ideal world, having a game blow up would open more jobs for the quality of life updates and other things, COVID was not going to allow that to happen due to work restrictions and just the job market and economy overall. Animal Crossing New Horizons gained a ton of new fans and success due to COVID and people being kept at home, but this also ultimately led to the quality of life updates not being able to be kept up with. Once it was time to return to work, it was time to move on to other projects for Nintendo. With all these new fans coming in, and a lot of them could be used to games that get constant updates and are live service games, which simply just is not how Animal Crossing was meant to be structured. So again, why was this bothering me now that Animal Crossing New Horizons just seemingly stopped? The answer for myself is really as simple as, since more fans were around who were used to live service games, Seeing all these new fans complain about the game dying up, it really opened my mind to the idea that the game had just died off. In reality, back to every other Animal Crossing I had played, this one was the most complete and did receive a ton of updates for 2 years. Obviously, yes, I do believe Nintendo still could have tended to some of these small wishes we had and missed the boat on a few things. It ultimately is the franchise's biggest accomplishment, and moving forward we can expect even better things for the franchise. Now, what is next for the Animal Crossing franchise? It'll be 4 years since an update this coming November. So what is next now that Nintendo has recently put out the Switch 2? It all started about 2 months ago when I came across a post on a forum stating that a majority of LEGO Animal Crossing sets will be retiring December 2025. Yes, I know they will be having the awaited Blathers Museum finally come out in August of 25, but it was very shocking to me to see the new Animal Crossing sets retire what felt like, again, so soon. Especially with all things considered about New Horizons nearly quadrupling sales of any other Animal Crossing game, why would something be done so soon? It had my brain start to wonder, why is Nintendo starting to touch Animal Crossing things again all of the sudden? It was seemingly left untouched at the height of its popularity, so why now with a new console release is Nintendo touching Animal Crossing merchandise? We've all seen the recent news of the Animal Crossing's Crocs collab, the Happy Room blind boxes and other Animal Crossing merch starting to appear on Twitter and other forums. All of this has me starting to wonder, is Nintendo planning to roll out their next newest plans for the franchise? With the Pokemon Presents on July 22nd and tons of speculation of leaks of a new Direct, which we all know are very accurate, it does make me ask myself still, what is next for Nintendo's hit franchise Animal Crossing? With the release of the Switch 2, we've seen games like Mario Party Jamboree to receive the Jamboree TV update, and Kirby and the Forgotten Land will be receiving its update with a new campaign. It makes me wonder, is Nintendo going to add something to Animal Crossing New Horizons, or are we going to get something brand new and completely separate? Let's take a look at the mainline releases so far. In 2002, Animal Crossing received the original Animal Crossing. 3 years later, Wild World for the Nintendo DS came out in 2005. Fun fact, this is actually the second game to use the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection, the first being Mario Kart DS. 3 years after that, in 2008, Animal Crossing City Folk hit the streets on the Nintendo Wii. In 2012, 4 years after the release of City Folk, Animal Crossing New Leaf came out for the 3DS. After all this, we had to wait 8 years before the next release, which was of course Animal Crossing New Horizons. This averages to about 4.5 years in between mainline releases, with the longest being 8 years. Knowing this, we definitely are in the time frame of possibly getting an announcement for something upcoming. The big question being, are we getting an update to Animal Crossing New Horizons on the Switch 2, or are we packing up and getting a whole new Animal Crossing for the Switch 2? You know, maybe the sad reality of this all is that it is just simple overthinking and reminiscing on something that was once a comforting escape from reality. Or maybe these are signs of what is to come. Ultimately, who knows? While I would personally love a new Animal Crossing, I would rather make a quality of life update for New Horizons, similar to how New Leaf received its Welcome Amiibo update in 2016, 4 years into the game. This made that 8-year gap a whole lot less painful. I think this would give fans a way to get back into the franchise and prepare for something a couple years down the road. Maybe I am just very partial to the hectic mess of the island I call home, or I'm tired of getting scammed by Red in different generations, but I would not be disappointed at all if all of this speculation was done just for a new update on New Horizons. Whatever it turns out to be, I am beyond excited to get some Animal Crossing Crocs to show off and to be able to finally have the long-awaited Blathers Museum as a LEGO. Let me know what you guys think. Is Nintendo getting all this Animal Crossing merch out there for a big announcement? Or are we all just in a big pipe dream that us Animal Crossing fans tend to have?